The old mansion stood at the edge of town, dark and ominous, looming over Harbinger Lane. People whispered about the house. They said it was haunted. Legend told of a family that once lived there, the Harbinger family. They vanished overnight without a trace. Some say their souls are still trapped inside. No one dared to go near the mansion, not after dark, not ever. The windows were boarded up. The paint was peeling. The yard was overgrown with weeds. The air around the mansion felt heavy, oppressive, like something evil was watching, waiting. It was a Friday night. A group of friends were hanging out, telling scary stories, daring each other to do stupid things.
I dare you to go to the Harbinger mansion.
Jake was the bravest of the group, or at least he pretended to be.
Yeah, right. And I dare you to kiss a vampire.
Come on, Emily, don't be such a scaredy cat.
I'm not scared.
But her voice trembled.
Prove it. Let's go to the mansion.
The other friends groaned. They knew it was a bad idea, but no one wanted to back down. The storm raged around them. Rain lashed against their faces. Wind howled through the trees. It was the perfect night to visit a haunted house. They reached the front gate, rusty and covered in cobwebs. The gate creaked open with a groan, as if warning them to turn back. They ignored it. The front door was unlocked. They stepped inside. The air was thick with dust and decay. The only light came from the flashes of lightning outside. Each footstep echoed in the silence. The floorboards creaked under their weight. Shadows danced on the walls, twisted and menacing. They could hear their own heartbeats, thump, 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 drowning out the sound of the storm. They explored the mansion, room by room, each one as dark and empty as the last. Cobwebs hung from every corner, dust covered every surface, the furniture was old and rotting. Then they saw it, a light, coming from under a door at the end of the hallway. They exchanged nervous glances. Curiosity outweighed their fear. They slowly approached the door. Jake reached for the handle. It was ice cold to the touch. He turned it slowly. The door creaked open. Section 5. The Mirror's Gaze. The room was different. It was clean, pristine, as if someone had been living there. A fire crackled in the fireplace, casting a warm glow over the room. In the center stood a vanity, and on top of it, a mirror. It was a beautiful mirror, with an ornate silver frame, but something about it felt wrong. The reflection in the mirror was distorted, twisted. Emily gasped. "Look," she whispered. Their reflections in the mirror were smiling, but it wasn't their smiles. These smiles were cruel, sinister. The mirror began to glow. A faint humming sound filled the air, growing louder, more intense. Section 6, trapped. Panic surged through them. They turned to run, but the door was gone. The room was sealed shut. The mirror's glow intensified. The humming sound became deafening. They shielded their eyes from the blinding light. One by one, their reflections reached out from the mirror. Their eyes glowed with an eerie green light. Their hands were cold and skeletal. They grabbed the friends, pulling them towards the mirror. Screaming, they kicked and struggled, but it was no use. The grip was too strong. Section 7. A desperate escape. Jake managed to break free. He stumbled back, watching in horror as his friends were dragged towards the mirror. They screamed his name, pleading for help, but there was nothing he could do. He was powerless to stop it. The light from the mirror became blinding. Jake shielded his eyes. He couldn't watch. Then, silence. Jake lowered his hand. The room was dark again. The fire had gone out. The mirror was just a mirror. His friends were gone. Section 8. Vanished. Jake searched the mansion, frantically calling out their names, but there was no answer, only the sound of his own voice echoing in the darkness. They were gone, vanished without a trace, just like the Harbinger family. He ran out of the mansion into the storm. He didn't stop running until he reached the safety of his own home. No one believed his story. They thought he was crazy or that he was lying. But Jake knew the truth. He had seen it with his own eyes. The haunted mirror had taken his friends. Section 9. The legend continues. The next day, the police searched the mansion. They found no sign of the missing teenagers, no fingerprints, no footprints, nothing. The mansion on Harbinger Lane remained abandoned, as if guarding its deadly secret. The legend of the haunted house grew stronger. People whispered about the teenagers who had disappeared. They said their souls were trapped inside the mirror, forced to relive their final moments over and over again. Section 10. Forever Haunted. Some say that on stormy nights you can still hear their screams echoing through the empty halls of the mansion. No one dared to go near the mansion again, not after what happened to Jake and his friends. The haunted mirror waited for its next victims, trapped within the mansion's walls forever.